Welcome friends. So, in our earlier sessions, last 2-3 classes, we have discussed that for maximizing the revenue, we can use strategic pricing also, where we see that either sometime by giving different types of pricing at different times or by applying some kind of promotional rules when you are ready to reduce the prices on some special occasions, so that you can attract more customers. These customers may do forward buying, or there may be a possibility of market growth also. All these are the possibilities through which you can maximize your revenue. In this particular session, we will be focusing on one more approach of maximizing the revenue through pricing. This is known as auction, and I hope most of you have already heard about this term auction. In our country, when the IPL started, the term auction became very popular. But in large number of government sector, auction is a very common thing. Whenever we discussed about how are you giving the license for spectrum for communication, how are you giving licenses for mining activities, all these are done through the help of auction, because government wants to maximize its revenue through limited available resources. But in case of mining related auctions, in case of spectrum related auction, we have double objectives. One, we want to maximize our revenue as government, but in order to maximize revenue for government, there may be a risk that the price for the services offered through those resources may be excessively high for the common citizen of the country. So, therefore, these auctions are done in a very careful manner, that on one side you should get more revenue in government's account, and at the same time the services made through these resources should not be too expensive for the common man. But then there are some other cases of auctions where we do not have these kind of trade off, where only the profit maximization, revenue maximization is the objective. For example, if I am auctioning a painting, if I am auctioning some antique arts, these are the examples where we are looking to maximize revenue, because there is no welfare angle associated with these kinds of auctions. So, in this particular class, in this particular video, we are going to discuss about what are the different types of auctions, what is the significance of auction in revenue maximization, and one or two important theories, the examples we will be discussing in this particular session. Now, the content, if we talk, we will talk about introduction of auction, how auction is used in practice, types of auctions. Then we will discuss one interesting theorem, you can say, that is independent private value theorem. We will also discuss some of the special cases like sealed bidding, first and second prize auctions, and the equilibrium strategies for a second prize auction. All these we are going to discuss in this particular section. Now, when we start the process of auction, so technically if I say that this is a mechanism for dynamically adjusting prices. So, this is basically the definition, you can say, for the auction based on market conditions. If there are some number of customers who are ready to pay as per their paying capacity for availing the services, and therefore, you see that how many customers are there and what likely they can pay to you, you may keep increasing the price of your services in order to get more and more revenue from the limited resources. So, that is the dynamic adjustment of the prices. That is the dynamic adjustment of the prices, where you see that there are still some customers who are ready to pay more, and to take advantage of their paying capacity, you will keep increasing the price. So, in this process, customers they typically offer a bid. The price, the bid is basically the definition of bid, the price a customer is willing to pay. You must have seen in TV serials, in news items, that how customers are ready and they are giving some kind of cards on which they keep writing the price they are ready to pay for a particular item. And then based on the highest bid available at a particular time, the seller decides that which bid to accept. Some types of auctions are very close to posted pricing. What is this? Where the firm is giving a particular price and whether customers are willing to accept that price or not. So, firm will say that okay, 10 million. Now, if customers are there, if they are willing to accept this price, so you are posting the price, or customer on their own may also give a suggested price, where customer is giving their price that okay, we are ready to give this much of bid to you, and now it is up to the company, the seller, whether to accept that bid or not. Generally, you will see that the prices in auction depends on the number of customers bidding and their valuations for the item. If very few buyers are there for a particular product at the time of auction, you will not get higher auction prices. So, for getting a higher value from the auction process, it is important that there should be sufficient number of large number of buyers, then only the higher valuation will happen, and then only you will get the higher revenue from this entire process of auctioning. Auctions are another important thing, characteristic you should know about auction, that auctions are considered price discovery mechanism, because in the auction, as we just said, that it is a process of dynamically adjusting the prices. So, it is a price discovery mechanism, that what is that price where the customer is giving maximum value to your product. So, you on your own may not be able to suggest or find the suitable value for your price, but here actually the customer himself herself is suggesting that this is the price, this much value I can associate with your product at this value. So, in this way it becomes a price discovery process also. We see that auctions in variety of cases, like in the stock exchange, that is a very common thing. Now, some of you, those who operate in stock exchange, they know that there are buyers and sellers, and the entire process of stock exchange happens with the help of this auctioning process. So, as a seller, I will put a bid that okay, I have the stock of company X and I am ready to give these stocks at, let us say, 200 rupees. Now, if there is a willing buyer at this particular rate, that okay, I am ready to buy at 200 rupees, then my bid is successful and the buyer will pay that amount to me. But if there is no one who is ready to buy at 200 rupees, my bid will be unsuccessful. Vice versa of this is also possible, that I want to buy stocks of a particular company and I may say that I am ready to pay 190 rupees for the stock of this particular company. Now, if there is a interested seller at the rate of 190 rupees, he will accept the value I am offering and he will sell his stocks at the rate of 190 rupees. But if seller is expecting that my stock is having a value of 225 rupees, so the price which I am ready to offer of 190 rupee will not be accepted by him, because the seller is expecting a higher valuation from that. So, all the deals in the stock market are also happening through the process of auction, because there are large number of buyers, large number of sellers all the time available in the stock market, and the process of auctioning happens so fast every time. Maybe we will not be able to realize that it is exactly the process of auctioning, but the working of that entire stock exchange system is happening through the auction systems. Then there are various other examples, like in many cases real estate may also follow the process of auctioning, arts, paintings, interesting collections, some kind of industrial procurements, the public contracts, the natural resource rights, like I mentioned about the mining, etc., the rights for spectrum for communication, all these things are happening through the process of auctioning. Nowadays, a lot of PPP activities are also happening. So, the involvement of private parties in the public work is also happening through the process of auctioning. So, in variety of activities, maybe in our daily life we may not be encountering the process of auctioning, but in B2B activities you will see the tremendous use of the process of auctioning. So, this kind of pricing I suggest that is more popular and used whenever we are having B2B businesses, whenever our activities are related to another business activities. Now, when we see this process of auctioning from the point of view of revenue management perspective, then you have near perfect first degree price discrimination, because in this kind of situation in auctioning you give choice to the customer that what you are willing to pay for this particular service, for this particular resource. So, it becomes kind of a near perfect price discrimination, that okay, I am a customer, I am giving for the same service 200 rupees, there is another customer, let us say if there are n number of products available. So, and n number of products are giving to n different type of customers, and it is quite possible in the process of auction that every customer may pay different price for that particular resource, same resources, and in that way it becomes a kind of a first degree price discrimination, that same product is distributed to n number of customers on the basis of price discrimination. Once we will talk about types of auctions, this meaning of first degree price discrimination will be further elaborated. The second is revenue benefits, because you earlier have discussed that there are either single price, two prices, three prices for the entire inventory available to you. Maybe like we discussed the price for one period, price for the second period, price for the third period. But here you may give individual price to each customer, and therefore, the process of auctioning may give opportunity of 100% capacity utilization. So, that gives you maximum revenue benefit, because you are ready to adjust the price as per the market condition, and it is a dynamic pricing system in that way. Auctions are important because in this case customers are also involved in the process of pricing. So, it takes the proactive approach of the customer. In other kind of pricing approaches, it is only the seller who is dominating the pricing related decisions, but in the process of auction you are giving opportunity to the customer to participate actively, to participate strategically for the pricing related decisions. Then another important thing which is in favor of auctioning, that auction theory can often be used to design optimal mechanism that maximize revenues among essentially all possible pricing mechanisms. Like we have already discussed that because of the customer's involvement, because it gives you revenue benefits as you are able to utilize all available inventory, and depending upon the purchasing power, depending upon the value a customer is ready to give for your product, you are able to get the maximum benefit in this particular case. Now, another thing is auction theories provide convenient ways to compare the revenues produced by different pricing mechanisms. So, like we have discussed in our earlier sessions that what are the different type of pricing systems which are possible. And if you go to the classes of finance and economics, so they also have certain type of pricing policies, like pricing based on the market value, pricing based on cost plus approach, etc. So, out of all those approaches of pricing, the auction theory can provide you that you are able to compare that how much auction is giving you a better opportunity, particularly in most of the intangible kind of things, abstract kind of a thing, where it is very difficult to identify value from the seller's point of view, where value is more realized from the buyer's point of view. In all those cases, the revenue will be maximized using the auction theory concepts. So, auction theory, as we are discussing continuously, it is a strategic consumer model, where consumer or customer is strategically, proactively participate in the process of value generation through pricing processes. There are different types of auction practices, like traditional auction houses. Maybe these traditional auction houses are not very popular in our country India, but these are very popular. Some of the very renowned traditional auction houses are in European countries, in American countries, and they hold weekly, monthly auction house, where large number of their members they participate in different types of auction activities. Generally, these are done for arts and other kind of collections to auction. Then financial market auction, I just discussed about stock exchanges. So, that is another type of auction activities which is happening for the financial products, particularly these days for stocks, for electricity, for bullion markets. All these are the places which are financial market auctions. Government auction, like you have various government services which are also coming through auction process, where we are doing the bidding. In some cases, the person who is ready to offer the services at the lowest rate, or in some other cases where you are looking for revenue maximization, like in case of natural resources, etc., you are giving the services or your contracts. So, in government auction, it is generally the allotment of contracts to the buyers. The industrial procurement auctions. So, for example, crude oil is a very interesting case, which is industrial procurement activity, and that is also happening through the process of auction. So, there are markets which are actually dealing in these kind of commodities, and lot of industrial procurement happens for crude, for steel, etc., coal, which is industrial procurement activities. And nowadays, because it is the time of e-commerce, and in e-commerce also, particularly if I remember, companies like eBay, they have pioneered the online auctioning activities, and following the moves of eBay, there are many other organizations which are doing the online auctions. I have seen that online auctions are happening in the field of travel industry also, where different types of airlines are offering the online auction activity for getting a particular seat. So, that is a very new phenomena in the process of auctioning in our practice. Now, let us see what are the different types of auctions which you can do. So, there are different types of categories in which we are going to discuss types of auctions. So, in the first category, which we call as standard auction types, so there is a system of English auction, open ascending auction. Here we are considering that there is a product, and in that product you are having a particular price, and at this price all those buyers who are ready to give value for this product, they will raise hands. After this, price will be increased, and for the next higher price only let us say 2 buyers are raising their hands, and then the price will be further raised, and the person, the buyer who is ready to pay that highest price, because that customer is still valuing the product at that high price, the product will be given to that customer, and this is the most common type of auction process, which is also known as English auction process. Just opposite to that is descending auction process. Now, in the descending auction process, it is interesting that we have let us say n products. Now, in the end product we have let us say n is equals to 3 in our case. I keep a particular price, and at that particular price there are some customers who are ready to give value to the product at that particular price. Now, let us say at n equals to at P1 equals to something, n equals to the customers who are ready to give value, these are just one customer who is ready to give value at that high price. Now, I am reducing the price to P2. Now, 2 customers are ready to give value at this lower price. I will further lower the price to P3, and now exactly 3 customers are considering the value at this lower price. So, I will give this product at this lower price to these 3 customers, because I have 3 products and now exactly 3 customers are ready to pay at this lower price. So, I will give my product at this lower price to these number of customers. So, this is known as Dutch auction. So, Dutch auction is more popular when you have a more number of products and you want to see that optimal price at which exactly that number of customers who are ready to give value at that particular price, that is your optimal auction price. Now, another system of bidding is there. Bidding means here we as a customer, we offer a particular price, and this bid is given in a confidential sealed envelope, and when the bid is opened, so the seller will put all the bids in some kind of descending order, and the bid which is having the highest value or top bid, that bid is given the product, that bid is given the contract. Generally, this is done in the government contract systems. So, we just discussed that there is a government auction happening, and in that government auction we generally use this sealed bid first price auction system, that all the possible customers, they are giving their bids and the highest bid is given the order. Then another interesting type of sealed bid process is, here you are giving your bids, you are giving a bid of V1, somebody is giving V2, somebody is giving V3, etc. So, if there are n bids coming, so these are the different values which are offered by the possible customers in their envelopes. Now, again in this case, you are going to give order to the person who is giving you highest bid. You are going to give the order to the V1 bidder, but he will pay, this is the pay. He will not pay what he is bidding. By bidding the highest, he is able to get the contract, but he will pay the second highest bid, V2. So, actually his own price is helping him to get the order, but the price which he will be paying for getting this resource, that is the second highest bid. So, this is another type of auctioning process, and the difference, if the difference is more, it appears that you have unnecessarily increased your price because of that. But in this case, generally because all these bidders they are independent, and mostly the sealed bid process happens in a confidential environment. So, they all behave in their own rational manner, and in that rational manner this person V2, if he is not willing to do the work on his own, but he will increase his bid in such a manner that it should be just slightly lesser than V1, so that if V1 gets the order, he has to pay sufficiently high price. If the gap is high between V1 to V2, this higher gap is actually benefiting the customer V1. But if the gap is narrow, this you can term as loss to customer 1, because he has to pay almost the same price for which he has bid. So, all these things are the important type of auction types. Now, here one or two important things we will like to tell you. One is the reserve price. Though in the process of auctioning, we say that the prices are adjusted as per the market condition. This is the dynamic pricing system, but in many cases seller may keep a reserve price also, that okay, I will sell my product not below this particular price. So, that is a reserve price, and in many times you must have heard about IPL auctions also, that there is a base price for every player. So, that base price is basically the reserve price. Similarly, in the government services also, government may keep a base price that okay, we are going to give you services at this minimal price. Similarly, one more important thing is reverse auction, and in the reverse auction what we are going to do, that we are going to follow the system of how by increasing the value you are going to get more and more revenue, but at the same time you have to see that more value if you are extracting from the contractor. For example, if I am looking for mining of coals, and if I am looking to give the contract of coal mining to a contractor, I will expect that as a owner of the resource, Government of India, I should get maximum revenue from this coal mines. But if mining prices are so high, the electricity produced from that expensive coal will also be very expensive, and the burden of this high coal price will go to the consumers ultimately, because then the higher prices of electricity will create a burden on the public. So, we want that price of the electricity should also not go beyond a particular limit, and we should also be able to maximize our benefit in that case. So, on one side you want to maximize the value, and on the other side you want to keep the cost of ultimate product in check also. So, therefore, this becomes a kind of a reverse auction system, that we are moving in two different directions, and then we look for one optimal balance where you get the appropriate cost at a particular level of value. So, you see the benefit from both the angles, and that becomes your optimal price for the auction purpose. Then there are other kind of auction activities like multi-unit auctions. Multi-unit auctions, like you have n number of products with you, and for n number of products you are having different auction rates for different type of units, and combinatorial auctions also, where you are doing contributions coming from different type of auction activities. So, these are not so popular type of auctions. The first four, and these are the conditions generally reverse pricing and reserve pricing and reverse auction. These are the conditions which may follow in any kind of standard auction processes. Now, let us see one very important theorem in the case of auction, that is known as independent private value theorem. Now, in this independent private value theorem, that is revenue generation property of auction, and it largely ignores the welfare aspect, which was actually discussed during our reverse auction process, and it is allocative efficiency properties. Now, how we do it? That we consider an auction in which we are selling maybe n type of customers are there, and all these are getting same kind of objective, same kind of product, there is no difference in the product. Like one example I can give you where we are not selling homogeneous products, again it is IPL, because there are so many players and these players may have different skill sets. So, they are that auction is an example of heterogeneous objectives. But let us say if I am talking of coal mines, if I am talking of let us say different type of cars, etc. So, these are examples of more homogeneous you can say auctions. Out of n customers, ith customer is giving the value at Vi. Now, this value, that how much value I am giving to a particular objective, that is a very confidential information, and different customers are giving different value, like first customer giving V1, second customer V2, ith customer Vi, and the last customer n is giving value Vn. Now, there is no order that V1 is greater than V2 and Vi is greater than Vn, but you can easily understand that there may be, and all these information is confidential. So, the distribution through which these values which are given by customers, that we are calling as F distribution. Now, we consider that as new customer is giving a value in this system, that is a higher value. If a previous customer has given some value V A, so if V B is the next value, this next value will be higher value. So, F distribution is strictly increasing with a continuous density function F and has bounded support on the interval 0 to V upper cap. So, that F 0 is 0 and F V upper cap is 1. Now, customers have different valuations and all know that F is not equivalent to saying all customers are same. So, all the customers are giving, even though the product is same, but all these customers are giving different valuation to the same objective because of value they are perceiving in that particular objective. Now, that was our independent private value theorem. Now, another type of interesting analysis which you can do in informal analysis of sealed bid and second price auctions. However, let me tell you that we generally do not find many cases of this second price option. Mostly we do the sealed bid first kind of analysis, because in that case the customers are giving their bid in a sealed envelope and they are charged on the basis of highest bid whoever is giving. So, you need to see that what is your bidding strategy, and bidding strategy needs that you should be able to understand the strategy of your other competitor also. We see that all the players who are going to put their bid in that sealed envelope, they all are equally rational. They have complete information about their other participating customers, and in light of that available information, here comes the interesting concept of the game theory also in application, that applying the principles of game theory, we can actually decide our optimal bidding strategy. And those who are interested, they can read about game theory, game strategies, in which the Nash equilibrium is come into the play for deciding our optimal bidding strategy. So, with this we have discussed the different types of auction strategies, and we saw that how we need to decide our optimal strategy whenever we are in the process of getting the maximum revenue using the principles of auction. And that is the end of this particular session. Thank you very much.